All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Late Night Shots Podcast, episode 98. We got a big guest for you today. Iowa commit Kolby Franklin. So, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. So, before we get into this episode, Derek has a quick word from our sponsor.
As all of you know, we are sponsored by Body Art Nutrition, a great supplement company based out of Minnesota. You can use code HWTN20 at checkout to save 20% off your order.
Nice. So, if I sound a little bit off today, we did 3 scoops of pre-workout. So, yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna let that by.
All right.
Getting into it, you're one of the best wrestlers in the country right now for Wyoming Seminary. We had your teammate Gabe Arnold on, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 episodes ago. So, what are your experiences wrestling there? I mean, you're heading to Iowa soon.
Yeah, well, so actually, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm actually living in Iowa City right now.
Yeah,
I think.
So, but I left SEM and I'm finishing up my high school at City High, which is a public school in Iowa City. So, SEM was a great place for me. It was a place that really paid me dividends and really helped me. But it just didn't work out this past year. We had a coaching change and things just didn't quite fit the way that I would have liked them to. And he really didn't I just didn't jive with him too well and some of the things that were going on, but definitely way happier out here, have a way better training situation, and things are going great.
Yeah, I knew being right from that area, I've known a couple of the guys, who have, a lot of my friends back home have siblings that have gone through Wyoming Seminary, and they've been friends with the wrestlers, so getting to talk to a lot of those guys, getting to talk to Coach Green a couple of times. I know, once he left there, it was never going to be the way it was. He was there for quite a while, and he kind of built that SEM dynasty with, the Bartletts and you and Gabe Arnold and Davis before it was Arnold and Bo, and a lot of guys right now I know are pretty, they're having a little weird time right now with the coaching change and everything. So so now, I mean, the next time we'll see you wrestle will be in an Iowa singlet. So
yeah, well, actually I'll be at the Open.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'll be at the Open the end of April, and then the end of May beginning of June will be the World Team Trials. So those will be the next 2 things that I'll be competing at. Still unsure about Fargo this summer. It'll kind of depend on how things go. But yeah, so that's what I'm gearing up for right now. Just training hard and gearing up for that.
Who will you be wrestling on? What are you wrestling for, the Iowa Wrestling Club then? The Hawkeye Wrestling Club?
I'm not sure about that. I know my dad signed me up the other day. I'm not sure what he put me under. I wasn't completely 100% sure if it was allowed to wrestle under that. So yeah. I think I just played it safe and put Seabolt or something like that. I've been up there training some too. But yeah, so that's probably, it'll either be Seabolt or Iowa Wrestling Club. Just depends on some of the rules and things.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be exciting for you. Some really big competition coming up. You said, Open and then the World Team Trials. What are you looking forward to wrestling at those 2 events?
I mean, really just getting back on the mat. I'm a competitor and I like to compete. And it's been rough. Moving out here, I moved out here the first of the year, right after the Mat Men Open. And I was ready to I've never won a state title and I never will win a state title. And I was ready to come out here and wrestle the rest of the season and win a state title. And then they didn't let me compete out here because I'd competed in college opens, and that's one of their rules, within the state. So I haven't wrestled since the Mat Men Open and Ironman and things around that time. So I've just been training for so long, so hard, just putting in the work that I'm just ready for it to pay off. I'm ready to show it. So,
I mean, you've definitely. So where are you training at in Iowa City? Are you training at that high school with their team or yeah?
So Ben Keator goes to the same high school as me. He's a 220 pounder, and he's a really good partner for me. And we have some great coaches at the high school as well. Corey Connell, it being one of them. He's really good guy. He wrestled at Iowa for a couple of years, and then I think went to a Division II or Division III school after that. But he's really tough, really good coach. And then now that the NCAA season's over, I can start going to some Hawkeye Wrestling Club workouts and things and working out with those guys. So
Yeah.
That's
So
gotta
what
be
are you
good.
looking forward to most about going to Iowa? I know a lot of the guys, it's just like the tradition, the coaching, the style, and all that. Like, what are you looking forward to?
I mean, yeah, I mean that those are two like main things, like the tradition and the coaching, but also like for me, like when I was making my decision, it's just like they would do anything for me. Like they would like they're straight up with how they are and they're not going to lie to you. They're going to tell you how it is. And that's what I like about them because there's no gray area. And another thing I like is how like close knit the team is. There's no like clicks or anything. Like every single individual in that team I love to death, like already. Like I've got to know them from living out here and things like that. Some like seeing them around and hanging out with them a little bit and stuff. But it's just it just feels like home already. So that's really like the thing I'm most excited for is just to spend like my college years here wrestling and just being around awesome people. So
Yeah. I want to say that's heard what I've heard from pretty much. I mean, you're only the second Iowa commit I think we've had here. That's pretty much exactly what we heard from Gabe Arnold.
yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard that about any other school. That always intrigues me a bit. Like, if you want to like dive into that a bit more, I want to say like what they
Yeah.
do.
I mean, it's just like really it's just everybody keeps everybody accountable. Like, um, I mean, when I was there on my visit and things, like you can just tell. Like I haven't spent a ton of time in there yet, just because like it's not really like you can't really be in there during the NCAA season. But it's just seeing the guys like react with each other, like the coaches are looking out for everybody and what everybody needs, like they're getting them whatever they need. And they're like, whatever you need, things like that. And that's like that really stood out to me, just like how bought into all the coaches are into all their athletes, no matter who they are, no matter if they're the starters or anything. So that really says a lot.
Yeah, I think you've been committed to Iowa for quite some time now. You know, you have two of the greatest American wrestlers of all time coaching that program. You have that for Penn State too with Kale Sanderson, Oklahoma State, John Smith. What were some of the other schools like you were recruited to before?
So my next biggest school that like I guess like my second like my second place team really was Penn State. I grew up like less than an hour away from there. And I'd say well other schools that I went on officials to were like Arizona State, South Dakota State, and West Point. So as you know, like Coach Green went to West Point. Definitely wanted to go check that out. He's been a guy in my life that's he's just really helped me a lot in like all aspects. So
Yeah.
definitely had to go check that out. And it was an awesome place. But I'd say that Penn State was way up there on the list too, because
Yeah.
like I grew up training there. Like as soon as I could get qualified for the RTC, like I was there every single day. I was
Yeah.
wrestling with Kale and I was wrestling with just everyone in the RTC that I could possibly get my hands on, and just wanted to be there for everything. So for a long time, I always like, I mean, I guess like someone growing up in Iowa always wants to be an Iowa Hawkeye. Somebody that grows up right next to Penn State, like everyone's got Penn State flags in the front of their house, and they're like, "You're going to Penn State." Like if you're good in the area, they're like, "Well, is Penn State talking to you?" But I mean, just when it came down to it in the end, I mean, there were so many more pros for me with Iowa and just how it made me feel compared to how Penn State made me feel, and how just deep in my gut, I knew that like it was the right decision to not pick the easy choice. Like the easy choice would have been Penn State, but like I need to pick what's best for me. So
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if you have this in mind yet, but like, what do you plan on majoring in?
I think I'm gonna do well. I have two options. Like I know I got accepted into like the biology like course, but I'm either gonna do that or I'm gonna do sports and recreation management.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a fun time with bio if you want to do that, but it's a lot of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, I want to do like more of a conservation side of things, like
Yeah,
so like I could maybe work with like animals and things like conservation officer or something like that someday.
I
Yeah,
know. We have
that was what
two
I did
bio.
that's what I did my first semester, first 2 semesters at college actually. Was that I was going to be a DCNR. That's what I was going to go do in school, but I since then have changed my path. So now it's fun though. Those classes are really really interesting. I mean I think you would probably enjoy them, but hey, do what you desire.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still probably gonna take some time and make sure that I figure out the path that I actually want to go. I don't think I have to decide right away. So um get all the boring classes out of the way first and then get into something that I want to do. So I mean obviously I want to stay with wrestling for a long time. So um I mean definitely good to have a backup plan though for later on or on the side, depends on what I end up going into with that. So
Yeah, that
Hopefully,
was one of
there's
the
enough.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
All right. Hopefully, there's enough money in the sport. At that point, we're growing quick. So, I
Yeah.
think one of the big things was, Jacob Warner made the national finals. A guy I think a lot of people look past a bit, and a guy who I want to say this was his last year.
No, he has one more year. Yep.
He does. Okay, yeah. You're going to be in the room with him a good bit. I think that helps you out a lot because you said Penn State. You're scrapping with Kale. They have Jake Varner. Casey Cunningham, Kyle Snyder. Like they are probably the most stacked upper weight room in the country, and it's not close. But you still got like great options at Iowa too. Now that I want to say, looking forward to.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking forward to that like a ton because you have Telford in the room. You've got Morning Stars. I mean, he's a big dude too. You've got trying to think who else. So you've got Warner, you've got Cassiope,
Yeah.
and like definitely definitely a good room to be in for the upper weights and just like the work ethic of those guys and like just like wanting to get better. And like I'm just really excited to get with Warner next year and just start scrapping with him right away, day one. Just he's a stud. Like he knows how to win big matches. Like he finds a way to figure it out. Like when you're biting your nails, not knowing what's gonna happen, like you can almost bet that he's gonna win the match. So
Yeah. So I'm assuming your plans kind of are just chill at 97 for now, and then let Ben go up to heavyweight.
yeah, that's definitely the plan right now. I've tried to put on weight before. It just doesn't feel good when I'm much heavier than 197. It's pretty much my sweet spot. So and Ben's like freaking huge dude. He's like 6'4". So like
Yeah.
he's definitely not, he's committed for both football and wrestling. So the football team will definitely put some size on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be brutal too. Like it's definitely gonna take a toll on your body.
That he's an athlete though. Like he's one of my best friends now since I moved out here. But like he's just he just does things that like normal people don't do. Like so I mean, I've watched his football highlights and stuff and I see the way that he trains and it's just it's incredible really. So I'm excited to see like I really think he could be one of the first people to actually do both. So
Yeah. I'm looking at his Instagram, like how much is he, like 225 ish?
yeah, he walks around about
Yeah.
225.
He still has like an insanely lean build, which is kind of scary because that means like if they get their hands on for football, dude, it's like 260 ish you're looking at.
Right.
That that's insane.
Yeah.
Do you know whether he like what he truly wants to pursue in college? Whether it's football or wrestling.
I really don't know. And I don't really think anybody does. I think truly he wants to do both. Like as crazy as it sounds, he just
50-50
that's what he
split
wants
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do. Like he wants to play football until the end of the season, then he wants to come back, get in shape, well, get in wrestling shape and wrestle. which
Yeah.
he's like, I've done it my whole life. He's like, there's no reason I can't do it at the next level.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, can't tell him he can't do it. So
Yeah. I mean,
I
I think
think,
there's a good amount of guys that tried to do that in college. You know, you had Keontae Hamilton, who was, I think, number one heavyweight for a while back. You know, I think he's just fully transitioned to football at this point.
yeah,
And you have a couple other guys here and there. You know,
Garcia, he was
yeah. I wrestled him my freshman year in the state finals.
he was he was double committed to Michigan, and I think now he's at either Lehigh or Lock Haven, one of the two.
He's at least.
Lehigh, yeah. So I don't know if he's still wrestling and playing football, or if he's just playing football, just wrestling. I haven't really heard a lot about him since.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm not sure if he's doing it or not.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at a school like Michigan, a big, I mean, it's going to be hard for anybody, at any Division I school to do both. So, I mean, I think we'll be excited to see Ben transition, into a college football player and then come back and, wrestle with what the football team does to him, building him up wise, because obviously they're going to put on at least 10, 15 pounds of muscle onto him during that football season. So, yeah,
Right.
he could be a force to be reckoned with.
bro, this is genuinely like scary. Like I'm looking at it, it's like
He's ripped up for his size.
it's not even that. It's the fact that he's like so lean with the frame to put on that much weight.
Yeah.
Like he genuinely looks like a skinnier like Cassiope. It's like, yeah, Cassiope's pretty tall.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's probably an inch or two taller than me, and I'm like 6 foot.
Yeah, I say maybe like he reminds you of like a Greg Kirkfleet. Like,
Yeah.
That's like exactly like.
Yeah, I mean, Cassiope he had a crazy transition too after his freshman year. What he did, I want to know what he did that summer off, because he had to go insane.
It's just like, I mean, I've talked to him. It's like dieting, and it's like working hard, and like he's a man on a mission. Like I know he didn't get what he wanted this year, but I mean he'll do anything to win. So he's ready to go.
You know, he's coming down to, I want to say this is the last year.
Yeah, I think it's his last year next year too.
20, 21, 22.
It's either his last year.
He has two more.
I think he has one more after that. Then yeah.
What's he is? Two more.
Yeah, 2 in total next year,
two
and then
more.
one more after.
Yeah. No, I was thinking weird because you wrestled 2020 and that got taken away. So yeah, I think genuinely, if he can stay healthy, like it's a race between him, Kirkfleet, and Schultz. Really,
right.
Like I don't see a healthy Cassiope losing to Paris again. But
no. Yeah, he's definitely getting better every day. So I mean, I'm excited to see how he ends up here these next couple of years and just keeps progressing. So it's gonna, like, I love Tony a lot. So he's a good dude.
Yeah. I think we talked to Gabe. Gabe was super high on the Kolby Franklin train. He said, you're one of his, good friends, and he had a lot of good memories with you at SEM wrestling together. And that was probably one of the most, excited things. Well, like what he was the most excited talking about you and him going to Iowa together. You and him were back together at SEM, and all the coaching that you got him with. I forget the guy's name, but he said
Greg Hagel.
Yeah, Hagel. Yeah, Coach Hagel. He said he thanks you obviously a lot for that, because you were working with Hagel before he even got to SEM. So what's up with you and Gabe? I mean, obviously you guys are real good friends.
Yeah, the dude's awesome. I mean, it's just like it's actually insane that like we're going to the same college and stuff. Like, I mean, when we came out in the Iowa visit together, like we flew out, like we almost missed our plane. We're running through the airport and stuff, and that's just me and Gabe. I don't know, like he's just been a really good friend to me for a long time, and somebody that like I've hard with before, like, till we want to basically roll up into a ball and die. And it's just like that says something when you're with somebody through like tough times, and you're with somebody that's like moved away from their family from whole way across the country, and like you can almost like you just kind of jive with them right away. So he's just an awesome kid, and I'm excited for him to get out here because he just shares the same values as me. He works hard. He's just his head's in it. So he's a gamer.
Yeah. So I think something we didn't touch on with Gabe is like SEM's a boarding school, right? So
Yeah.
what is it like? Because like obviously it's kind of like a college at that point.
Yeah.
Right. So on the boarding side of things, so there's it's basically like a mini campus, and then you have like a freshman dorm, and then you have like a sophomore, junior, senior dorm, and then there's a girls dorm. And there's like a couple school buildings, like a building for like the gym. We have our own like standalone like wrestling room and things. And it's basically like you have one roommate or you have like a single room, and just like showers at the end of the halls. You have dorm parents inside the dorms, like kind of like keeping track of you and keeping like checking on you and things like that. Cause you still are in high school, and kids like Gabe come there for the first time at 14 years old and they're staying in the dorms. So like you have no parents there. Like you've got a lot of responsibility that kind of smacks you right in the face right when you get there. So there's kids that do well with it and there's kids that don't do well with it. But it definitely helps me, and I could probably speak for Gabe too, that it helped both of us get prepared for college and what comes in college. So
yeah. What was it like for you when you first got there?
So it was different because I'm different than a lot of people though, because I moved a little bit away from my house for my freshman year of high school too, like my hometown. Like I went to school in State College, like right next to Penn State. But even still, just like leaving my family and leaving like the people in my hometown that like I've kind of like grown up around, it was just like it was pretty tough. Like, it wasn't easy, obviously. Like it was different. Like having to like get dropped off by my dad at like, I'm trying to say I was probably 16 at the time, like getting dropped off by my dad and him driving away and me being there by myself, essentially. Like I had Coach Hegel there, which I had worked with for a little while, and he started coaching there the same year that I went there. But it was just like I felt alone for a while, but I made a lot of friends really quick. So
you also can't take away from you were part of some absolute super teams. When you were there at STEM, that I think I want to say it was your first year at STEM. It was first or second year. You guys were unstoppable.
Yeah, that was my first year, and that was a really fun year. I got to wrestle in a lot of stuff, and we got our whole entire season in before COVID happened. So it was a blessing to get to wrestle that year, because that's some of my best memories was that year on the team with Bo and Lackland, and you've got Keeveman and like just everyone, like really like our backups could win national preps. Like it was just an insane room with like we were dialed in and we were ready to go, and it was just we had everything going for us, and it was a great year wrestling Blair and trying to think Del Barton. We wrestled Del Barton in the Rutgers before the Rutgers match. I wrestled Casale, and like
how'd that match go?
Man, I think I beat him by like 5 points or something in that one.
God damn.
But yeah, so it was just a great year. So
yeah, that was pretty much the SEM super team year. You guys were unstoppable. Looked incredible, wrestled incredible. On both sides, the men and women's side, both of your teams were really, really good.
Yeah.
And I remember there was quite a few guys with gold jackets that year. That was a good year.
It wasn't me, but I was close.
Who's in your bracket that year?
What?
Who's in your bracket that year?
I lost to Hamilton in the finals.
Okay. Yeah.
I wrestled up to 220 in that year, and I beat Pettigrew, I think 3 times that year. I wrestled him 3 times.
Yeah.
And Then I lost to Hamilton twice that year. I lost to him in the third and fourth at Ironman, and then lost to him in the finals at Preps.
I swear Noah just gets like the worst draws possible, like in all of his matches. Like he's good, and then he'll just run into like Christian Carroll and Nick Feldman, and then like you, and then have like Martin Cosgrove or something next.
Well, I
Like,
mean, yeah, I mean, I've wrestled Noah so many times in our life.
yeah.
Like we've wrestled, like he beat me in the Fargo finals, my first ever time in the Fargo finals. He dumped me twice to my back, like right in a row in the first 10 seconds. And like I was honestly scared to death going into the match at Ironman because I might have like chipped a piece of my bone in my ankle or like really sprained it really bad because like I couldn't put a sheet on top of it in the bed that night. And like I lost in the quarterfinals like 5-4 and like tweaked my ankle pretty bad. And the next day, like I was just like I literally can't shoot. So I just wrestled with my lead like my other leg forward and like kind of drug that one behind me. And then I went through a couple matches that morning and then I was like, well, I gotta wrestle Pettigrew now. Like he absolutely killed me the last time we wrestled. And then it ended up being like a triple overtime match or something like that. And I got away. But
what was
yeah,
the score the previous times you wrestled?
I think in the Fargo finals he beat me something like 14-7.
No, I mean that's freestyle, so
Yeah. And then trying to think. Before that, I think he beat me by like that was back in middle school. It doesn't
yeah.
like but and then we wrestled 3 times. I think I beat him 3-2 every time.
Okay, so it's like still like a normal match.
Yeah.
So, I think something we ask everyone who's wrestled Gable Stevenson, how is it? I think Nick Feldman might be the equivalent at the high school level right now. So you met him in the Ironman finals. Like, obviously you're wrestling a good amount of weight up. It was kind of just what it is. So what are your like? What makes him like that guy? Like when you wrestle him, like what are you thinking going into it?
I mean, so I went out there and I was like, I mean, anybody can be beat. Like he isn't a superhuman. Like, and I mean, I think that he's just tough. Like he wrestles through all positions. He's always moving his feet. He's always getting angles. Like if you shoot and it's not the perfect shot and you're not like finishing right away, he's gonna expose you. And like you obviously saw that if you watched the match. Like when I take a shot, like I mean, he had quite a bit more horsepower than me too. And there were some shots that I felt like I was gonna get and then didn't. But I don't know. It was a different feel. Like he's a really powerful kid and like just a good wrestler. So
yeah, I mean, obviously he's gonna end up going to Ohio State, probably being a contender for titles every year he's there. But he's put it on pretty much everyone, which is like actually insane to see. Jimmy won the state title in New Jersey my senior year. I think his closest match was 7-3 in the finals, which is insane. Then Feldman comes out here and beats him 12-0. I was actually rewatching Feldman versus Carroll, who's number 1. And like I don't think I grasped like the full thing the first time, and then you start seeing like Carroll was like, have you wrestled Carroll?
No, I haven't. Yeah, no, I haven't.
You might see him next year at an open, maybe. I'm thinking.
Yeah, that'd be good. He's a good competitor too. I mean, I want to wrestle everyone and anyone, like anytime. Obviously, like I've been off the mat now for a while, and it's been hard, but I'm ready for the open because I'm going to see a decent amount of guys there, I'm sure, and I've got some people that I want to take out. So,
are you planning on just showing that heavyweight your redshirt year? Or are you actually going to try to make 97?
I'll make a 97. It's not hard for me.
Yeah, you're not cutting like anything.
Walk around about 200 pounds. Probably walk around less, maybe.
Oh no, I mean I walk around like 210 to 215, but like 8 pounds of workout. Like I sweat a lot, so
it just kind of falls off you.
Yeah.
Because I remember Colin Moore in an interview when he was in college was talking like the same thing. He was 215, but then he struggled to like maintain 97 throughout the season.
Yeah.
But then you have like
No,
Miles Martin to weight down. So
like when I get my weight down too, and I'm like actually like competing like consistently, like my weight doesn't go up above 207.
yeah, so you're kind of just going to be fighting to put weight on essentially.
Yeah, I need to definitely put on some more muscle though.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely solid. I mean, looking at the 197 for you next year. You have I mean, obviously you have a dominant guy, NCAA finalist, at that weight. Obviously I think, are you gonna? I mean, obviously I don't think you could probably say it, but are you thinking about redshirting, or are you thinking you're just gonna, try to wrestle that off and see how that goes, or what's your
Yeah,
plan?
no, I mean, I think that's I think redshirting is definitely a good option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's I think definitely like I think he has unfinished business, and I think I want to help him in every way possible to achieve his goal. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting next year because if theoretically everything goes to plan, right? Dean's going to fall at a 2 seed and they're going to meet in the semis, right? Because Ferrari's probably get the top spot there unless he loses earlier, which is going to be interesting there. But for Iowa in general, like this year was like the end of an era for you guys. Caleb Young's gone, Marinelli's gone, Kemmer's gone, Ironman's gone, Santos gone. So like you're kind of like the fresh start. Like I don't want to say fresh start, but like the new generation coming in. Lee obviously has one more year. Cassiope has two more. Warner has one more. But you, Gabe, and like but all the other recruits are kind of like the start to a new generation of Iowa wrestling. So like, what are you looking forward to?
I mean, I'm just looking forward to like me personally, like just getting on the mat. Like I know I mean, I'm not gonna probably be the guy next year, but like just getting on the mat and just being the guy and winning for Iowa and just beating everyone I need to reach my goals. Like I know that they're going to help me in every way possible they possibly can to make me the best version of myself. So all I have to do is just take advantage of it and just make it happen. And I'm going to do that. So I've dreamed for so long about being an NCAA champ, being an Olympic champ, and now it's like my time to really make that happen. So I can't sit back and not let it happen.
Yeah. As someone, I probably should ask this earlier, but as someone who, obviously has been at the level you have, like all through high school, you wrestled in a lot of big matches. What's kind of your like? Obviously, your nerves have probably relaxed a little bit, being in so many of them. But what are your nerves kind of like, and what's like your pre-match like routine to get into it?
I mean, I definitely get nervous and like I mean that's something that like all high level wrestlers like nerves like it means it matters to you and that means you put in the time and um it matters to you. But really what calms me down is just focusing on like when I think about my training and I trust my training and I know like the days that like the countless hours and the countless days that I'm in there working out, I'm like pushing myself past my limits every day. Like that gives me comfort. And I mean, I also on top of that have like different lead ups to matches, like different stance motion and foot fires and stuff that I do like before every match to be like, all right, it's game time now. Like it's ready to go. Like tells my body that it's time to go. So I've just got little things like that that just help me like stay calm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something you don't see at the high school level a lot. I mean, maybe you guys being, I want to say, number one team in the country right now, I'm assuming. But, a lot of guys don't do cool downs after matches. It's probably just like a random observation, but like, I'm assuming you guys do.
Um, like,
I don't know what I'm trying to get at. I mean, like when you see guys run like post match sprints, like back and forth.
with Sem,
Yeah.
guys at Sem. I think it's more of like an individual thing. Like in high school, I know that I was taught from like right away when I got to high school, like you better get down there and cool down after your match. Like there's no reason to like go sit down in the bleachers and hug your mom or something like that. Like you got to get your cool down in, and like even if, especially if you got to lose more weight too, like after you're done wrestling, like there's no reason to stop moving. So I know like at Iron Man and stuff, like someone commented about it on Twitter or something like that, and they were like, because I was like doing sprints after my match or something, they're like, you're crazy or something like that. But I had to like get myself calmed down from my match. So it's just like everything's a routine and what makes you feel good as a wrestler, and like personally what works for you. Everybody's different. So yeah, it's not really like a set thing as a team, but I think it's more of like an individual thing.
I was watching Nationals, and I think this was during the match with Evan Wick and Shane Griffith, and they were talking about like how somebody used to, after every match at the national tournament, they would go run around the city, like run 3 miles to clear their head between every match.
And who was that?
I don't remember. I think it had something to do with Evan Wick, though.
Yeah.
Somebody tied to that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And that's what you got to do to clear your head. Like, if that's what I had to do, I'd do it.
Yeah.
If that's what I had to do to be the best, I mean, I'd do it. But
Yeah, I mean, so you make the transition. I mean, I'm sure that was kind of tough. You know, you had to make, technically 2 transitions. You went from wrestling, in a PA public school, and then I want to say it was your sophomore year you left for Sam.
so my freshman year, I actually wrestled at a private school.
Oh, yeah.
It was called St. Joe's Catholic Academy. And so I wrestled there. We had a pretty good team that year and like some good guys there. And then I left after that year to go to SEM. So then I was at SEM my sophomore, junior, and then like 1 trimester in my senior year. And then I switched to the last 2 trimesters out here.
Yeah. So what was that like for you? You go to a private school, and then, you have to kind of pick up and leave your family and go down to Kingston, PA, go to SEM. And then again, now you make that, big decision to, not finish at SEM. And now you're all the way out in Iowa City. So what was that like for, you and your family to make that decision? I mean, obviously it was a good one, to get you prepared for college to move out to Iowa City.
I mean, yeah, it was like some people think I'm crazy for moving around that much. And they're like even like people in my family, like my grandparents and things, like obviously like they wish like I would just be at the public school in our hometown. But me and my dad, like we understood like the whole time, like he knows what I need to, and he'd do anything for me to make sure that I have everything that I need to reach my goals. And like the only reason I switched so many times was because I saw more opportunities.
Yeah.
And I like I met so many people every place that I went, I made so many connections. I would never trade that for anything. Like it's helped me so much, like just in every aspect of my life, like meeting so many people and having that many experiences and having to go through like the nervousness on the first day at a new school 3 times in high school. Like you guys probably know, like it just like no matter where you go, like when you start high school, like you go to a new school, like you don't know anybody at first. Like a few people, but there's a lot of people you don't know. And like I don't know, it's a different feeling, but it's definitely helped me like socially and things too. So
if you don't mind, we have a little bit of time left here. What's your day-to-day like now? Do you live alone in Iowa City, or did you move in with like some friends, or what's that like? So
I have my own apartment like by myself. So I think I work better by myself. Like I'm not great with having a bunch of other people around. Like I'm pretty like organized and like to get up and go when I need to go, and like get to the workouts and not have to worry about taking care of anybody else or any other problems. So yeah, so I mean, usually like right now a day in the life of me is I start school around 9:45. So in the morning, I usually get a workout in of some sort. So it's either a lift or it's a wrestling practice or it's a cardio workout. So one of the three. And then I go to school basically from 9:45 to 2:30 or 3 o'clock. And then usually after that, I'm getting in another workout and then coming home and getting a bite to eat and just kind of winding down for the night. So it's a pretty full day, but I mean, there's also other times like of downtime, and there's days that I factor in where I'm off the mat or there's no lift for the day. So like I might take the morning off and just like stretch and do recovery type activities and things like that. So yeah, it's just it all is just, since I've been out here, there's not one thing that like people are so easygoing. Like it's just a great situation. So
Yes, I mean, for you, a lot of people, a lot of people really didn't know you left SEM. Like, I mean, and if we would have, not talked to Gabe, I think pretty much we probably would have thought you were just still at SEM and, maybe something happened, you got injured or something. Cause, we really didn't get to hear about you quite, towards the end of the season. So, now you kind of have to feel like you're already at college, you're out there in Iowa on your own, I mean, that's got to be good for you now. At least, you're kind of getting your way around the city, like learning everything you need to know, where to go to do everything you need to do. So what's that like? You think you have a kind of like an extra foot in the door than some of the other guys that are coming out to wrestle at Iowa?
yeah, I mean it's great. Like I already feel like I know like my way around the city basically, and like I've made so many friends and so many connections and things already. So it's just, I mean, I'm really just setting myself up to be more efficient when I'm in college and when I like get enrolled in school and start classes and things. I feel like I'm gonna have like I'm just gonna be ready to hit the ground running. So that's what I need, because I want to be the best version of myself, and I think that's the easiest way to do it is to be prepared and to kind of know what you're getting yourself into. It's the easiest way to do it right away. So
Yeah. So I think, we're going to get into our, we like to do this with every guest. We do our, kind of fun closure, get to know you a little bit more, non-really wrestling related questions. So I'll let you go first, Akil. You can.
Yeah, I thought of another question since the first one doesn't go too well according to the last
Yeah,
episode.
the first one does not go well with anybody.
2023 national picks.
2023 national picks.
Yes.
The whole way up through.
Just run through your 10.
Just your top 10. Who's winning each weight?
I don't even know. Like, give me some.
So,
who do you think in the
You got
finals?
Spencer Lee at 25.
Well, that's obviously going to happen.
33. Want to say Dayton Fix versus like a Michael McGee.
I don't know. I was on the Arizona State visit and I watched McGee wrestle some and things. He works hard, but I think that I don't know if he can handle that. So
I don't want to see Fix lose again. That it genuinely hurts.
no, yeah. I mean, he's been around for a long time, so it'd be good for him to get that.
Yeah, 7th year next year as a junior.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, but 41, I have Real Woods versus CJ Composto. It's kind of random. Or Cole Matthews.
I mean, Composto is obviously a young guy,
Yeah.
and Matthews is from Reynolds, Pennsylvania. He's a tough guy. So I don't know at that weight. I don't know.
I was hearing Real Woods might transfer, and Penn State's looking to pick someone up because Nick Lee's gone. So
he said he's back for another year, though, right?
I think graduated from Stanford. That's the thing.
No, I was saying Nick Lee.
I swear he was trolling on the story because he doesn't. I don't think he has eligibility left. Because
we broke it down, like looked at every year he competed, and like there's not like unless he took something that like he like I don't know. There's no way, like statistically, there's no way he should be able to wrestle again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I saw that on the story too, and I was like,
Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. And then what? 49 is
Yanni,
Yanni. Yeah.
unless Lovett or Gomez pull something.
yeah, he's definitely tough.
57.
57. Carr or Monday.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'd say Ed Scott.
I like that.
Yeah.
He's from my hometown.
Yeah,
Oh, Head Scott.
that's Scott.
Scott. Yeah,
165. Who is this?
I'd say
Keegan O'Toole.
Say
Kennedy.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick Kennedy.
Yeah.
That's a solid pick. I think he's flying under the radar. I mean, he hasn't wrestled a match yet, but
Yeah. I mean, him and Marinelli scrapped pretty hard. I know they
Yeah.
wrestled at the Open and things. I think he's ready to go as soon as he gets in there. So
yeah.
there you go.
174. Storaci, Mackay, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a toss up. I mean, it's gonna
Yeah.
I don't know which way.
84
I mean, honestly,
84. You kind of have it's just Brooks pretty much, I want to say. Like maybe
Yeah,
Keck Eisen.
yeah.
97. You can say it.
Well, it's obviously gonna be Warner. So
Okay.
Solid. I
Uh
was very impressed with his performance at Nationals. He came to wrestle at Nationals.
I think what's it called? After he got by Schultz, it was kind of just, he was there.
hey, he's given Ferrari all he's been able to handle before. So
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
I think with another year of just keep getting better and making sure he's just ready to go like he was this year, I think he's unstoppable, really. I think he just needs one more year to put it all together, and I think it'll be good.
I have a quick thing to ask you. Obviously you trained at Penn State a bit. Where do you think Michael Beard would have placed this year? Assuming Max Dean still was a champ.
I mean, me and Beard were pretty close when I was at Penn State. Like we hung out some and like I wrestled with him most days. And like it's just I mean, Penn State's really deep and they've got a lot of guys that could do really well. And I think he could have placed pretty darn high. I think he still has some developing to do.
Yeah.
And I think he's like I think one thing that kind of hurts him is like his gas tank sometimes, but I don't know. I think he could have placed pretty high.
Yeah. So I won't say what he takes 7th last year, like he beat Buchanan. So I mean, theoretically you could have said he could have won it also. Because I don't know what the rest of the offs look like. I think that's an interesting thing to just
Yeah, I never watched the wrestle-offs or anything like that there. I never watched the wrestle-offs at Iowa. I've never really.
So
And then I mean
heavyweight
next season is you got 3 big guys. The top 3 is obviously Cassiope, Kirk, and then Schultz. I mean, those are your big 3.
We don't talk about Mason Parrish around here.
Cassiope's on a mission, so he's the guy.
Yeah, what was it? Torn MCL this season?
What's that?
It was a torn MCL, I think, this season.
I'm not really sure.
Because it looked rough, like I want to say the last 2 times against Paris, maybe, he's a little bit chunkier. He just wasn't able to defend the dump a little bit better. But this one, he genuinely looked in pain the whole tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I want to say 7th, he made an All-American, which is all you really have to do, It's not like anybody was really beating Gable this year, so I think it's still a solid performance.
Gable's definitely that was crazy to see him put his shoes out there, but I mean, he set himself up. Like he's put in the work and done what he's wanted to do. So
enjoy that multi-million-dollar WWE contract that he has now. I found out recently. I saw somebody did an interview with him that he was getting NIL WWE, like the WWE is paying him this entire season while he was wrestling. Like he was still getting WWE checks the entire season.
That's crazy.
With the NIL deal. So he was still making a boatload of money while wrestling. And now he finished it. And now he has a full-time WWE contract that he has. So that's insane.
That is insane. And his brother got one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah.
I think
A
his
lot
brother
of
definitely, what's it called, pulled in a lot of money, just because of the Gable's name too. Because I think what's his
yeah.
name, Jacob Casper's in the WWE also.
Yeah.
And
So is
again, like
his brother.
he's a decently big
Yeah.
name, and his brother's pulling in a lot just
Is
kind of because
Ferrari doing something with that too?
Ferrari. I
Supposed
think
to?
Ferrari kind of got put on hold with the whole car crash thing. I'll say.
He is like like with that tied in there somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the
But
WWE is too big of a business not to have a clause for that.
yeah.
Interesting. I mean, honestly, like I'd rather UFC fight some of the good dudes rather than go out and fake wrestle. But I mean,
Yeah,
money's money.
it's like you don't get paid like shit. Like honestly, like for as much as that business is worth, you don't get paid anything. I'm pretty sure Jordan Burroughs probably makes more from like these flow cards than a lot of these fighters do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the toll that it puts on your body compared to the amount of money that you get. Like
Yeah,
unless you're a Conor McGregor and you start running your mouth or Ben Askren, then like you're not making
yeah.
anything.
I
Get
mean, if
Jake
you have
Paul.
the pedigree, I want to say like in wrestling, right? Like maybe Brock, I want to say, but he was more WWE based. Gable won the Olympic gold, so did Cejudo. So, once he came to the UFC, he was pulling the big contracts already. I want to say Gable could do the same thing, but like, again, people are going to probably gas him up to get a title fight pretty quickly. And then, you're going to toss him out against Ngannou, and then it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
So I
But,
think it's still interesting to consider.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, Colby. So if WWE reached out to you and we're gonna offer you a contract, would you take it or would you say no?
Oh, I'd take it.
Okay, I got a hypothetical for you. WWE 5 years, let's say 5 million, right?
Yeah.
Or UFC gives you, I don't know how their deals work. Let's say 5 fights, 500,000.
500,000 for 5 fights
For 10
or
fights.
Yeah, I don't really know how the UFC
Because I want to say you keep your pride with the UFC, but like your time's also limited in that sport more than it is in the WWE.
like I feel like I don't know, it's also a risk to like you got to put so much like I'd have to learn like a completely new craft as well. And like when I'm done with college, like my main goal, like if I haven't done it yet, is to win the Olympics. And like after that, like I want to start a family and I want to do things like that. Like 500,000 for 10 fights getting punched in the head, like doesn't really seem like that smart of an idea. But
And you know what's crazy? Like that's more than a lot of people get.
yeah.
And like I think that once that's the problem. Because like they're charging so much for pay-per-views that you know how much it costs to get an advertising spot, like on the UFC, and like the fact that they can't pay their fighters. Like I think like what's his name, Jake Paul too. Like he said stuff about it. I know a lot of people just don't take him seriously, but he makes some valid points when he talks about stuff like that.
Yeah,
As
definitely.
much as you don't want to admit it, so like I want to say like he's starting his own boxing league and stuff like that. So like that might become pretty big soon. Like as much as people don't want it to.
But I think we'll pass it over to me for my question.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that. My bad.
So we are Heavyweight Nation. Our fans love this part. We have to ask you a food related question. So you move out to Iowa. What's the go-to spot you go to eat in Iowa? What's the best place you've been to so far?
Let me think here. I mean, I went to this place called 30 Hop with my girlfriend, and it was pretty good. Like they had like these really good fries, and I got like fish tacos and stuff. But like my go-to quick spot is Estella's. It's like basically like a Chipotle or Qdoba or something like that. And you can get like, so they actually sponsor Tony Cassiope. So like he has like a partnership with them, and there's only two two locations of Estella's, and it's in Coralville and Iowa City, which Coralville is like basically Iowa City too. But like they've got this one that's called the Buff, and it's got like it's like this huge burrito. Like the thing has to weigh like 3 pounds, and it's got a 10-inch pancake inside of it. It has bacon, eggs, cheese. You can get pico in it. Like it's got maple syrup in it, and it's wrapped up in a tortilla, and like it's got the whole shebang there. And I don't. It's insane.
You know, I feel like that's something I would want to try.
That's
I feel like that's something I would want to try, but I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like I would get like the same treatment as Pat Minio if I come to Iowa. So
I don't know. I mean, Pat Minio, oh boy,
he's obviously done probably worse to you guys than I have.
Yeah,
I'm just out here just talking shit.
He spread a lot of stuff about me when I was leaving Simmons stuff, and I really didn't appreciate it. But I mean, that's his presence on the internet, and he likes to talk about things on Twitter, and he obviously got his information to people inside of Sem that I have ideas about who said things, but there was times where only a couple people knew things, and somehow he found out and was posting it on Twitter. So I mean,
obviously it's not.
People will say what they're going to say. And I mean, I don't even have my notifications turned on for Twitter. So like, I don't even see half the stuff that happens. So, like I have it. But.
Yeah. I think that's big in like the wrestling community that we're not used to. In football, you have like Adam Schefter, Ariel Helwani for, fighting and stuff. I think, many have like insiders. I think that's kind of what he's going for. Obviously you're going to have your misses, like with the whole camera out for the season and stuff like that. But
right.
As much as you want, like people are always going to look at the 1 or 2 times you miss and then just completely discount the hundreds of times you're right. Right. So like, it's always like a numbers game, like a speed game. Right. So I'll put this in perspective, right? What's his name from Full House? Bob Saget, when he died, what are news companies trying to do? They're trying to verify the story and they're trying to get as fast as possible. Right.
Right.
So TMZ was the first to upload it, as they are with a lot of things now. They uploaded it. They have about 6 million followers on Twitter. So does another company, but they upload it, and they got about 800,000 likes on the tweet. Obviously it is what it is, but another company uploaded 2 minutes after them, and they only got about 6,000.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's just like whoever has the first news, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like as much as we make jokes and we say like we're like the cities we're most hated in, it's got to be number one, Michigan. They hate us for some reason.
Michigan does not hate us. Mason Paris hates us.
The thing is about Iowa, though. The thing is about Iowa is the people here are like they're just nice. Like you would not be hated in Iowa because, like, okay, so like. There's also like the crazy fans sometimes. Like I know you're probably thinking that, but like they're just passionate. Like sometimes their mouths get the better of them, but like just people in general will basically do anything for you in Iowa City. Like
100%.
It's just it's a great place to be, honestly. Like it's the best. Like I'm here now, and like I couldn't even think about leaving here. Like I've got everything I need here. So
I think that's a big thing. As I was obviously with the whole Austin Gomez situation, that's maybe like 1 or 2 fans, and then people want to portray it upon the entire school.
And I mean, you have beer being allowed to be sold now, and like
that wasn't gonna end well.
I mean, you've got it's a different atmosphere, and people are going to say things, but the way that I was brought up is you can't feed into that when you're a competitor. Like I played a lot of baseball when I was younger, and my dad's always like, just as an example, like if you make it the MLB, you can't turn around and flip somebody off for saying something to you, because then they're going to fine you money.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn how to control your emotions, and you have to learn that just let it roll right off your shoulders because you're there to do something and you're going to do it. So
Yeah. I think obviously everything is like, has its levels to like what's like you can shrug off and like what genuinely needs to be addressed. But, stuff happens everywhere. I feel like it just gets kind of portrayed because people already have this image of you guys, I think you're the second Iowa guy to come on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, you and Gabe, nothing but good things I've heard about you guys, But, again, I think DeSanto was one of the biggest things, a lot of people like him now, right? But when he was first coming in, it's all about the match with Mičić, right? Or maybe him screaming in Sirianni's face, Like, again, I'm not going to hold that against him because it's just like what it is, Like you're passionate about it. You let your emotions get the best of you sometimes. And now that it's all over, you see people switching sides pretty quickly, after they see that interview.
Yeah, DeSanto is like, he is the most, like, to me, he is the most awesome dude that I've ever met. Like,
I bet.
Like, he is just an inspiration to me, honestly. Like, the way that he works and the passion that he has for the sport and just, like, wanting to help everyone he possibly can. When he's out there on the mat, some people might look at him as a bad guy because of the way that he portrays himself sometimes. But I think that the best place for him was with Tom and Terry Brands at Iowa.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that when he started off in college, I think he was kind of trying to find himself a little bit. I think he was in a place that wasn't quite right for him. And I think he had to learn a lot about himself. But one thing about that match that everyone talks about is, like, when you're a competitor at that high of a level and you come off of a season of beating Spencer Lee in senior year of high school, and you're like looking right to your next goal right away. The way Austin Santo is, he's like, I'm winning the NCAAs like right away. And like when you see that starting to fade away from you, like you're gonna do anything possible to achieve that goal. And like I don't agree with trying to like break somebody's arm to do it. But like trying to throw the kitchen sink at somebody at the end of a match, there's nothing against that. I've done forward rolls at the end of matches trying to dive in and take people down and beat them. Like I'm not going to stand on the line with 5 seconds left and not do anything and just
bow down. I agree with that 100%. I think it's just it's again like it's another guy like I think people viewed as the villain, right? Like throughout it, at Penn State, you have Carter Storach who's getting viewed as like that villain role. If you've seen his Instagram captions recently, right? I think someone always has to play that. Like, I'm pretty sure Storach is a nice dude, in person. But
yeah, he's nice.
Yeah.
But like somebody always has to play that. Like,
great too.
Yeah,
I'm sure when you met Austin, I'm sure he was great, and I'm sure all those guys at Iowa were great, no matter what they're viewed at in the wrestling community, how they wrestle. A lot of people view Ironman the same way, the way he's, he's got those hard clubs and, he's in your face. And, that's just kind of how it has to be sometimes. I feel like that's that Iowa mentality, that they're going to break you apart. That's just what it is.
I mean, that's an individual thing too. It's just like, it's not so much the Iowa mentality that like picks guys that are like the Iowa mentality, guys that share the same like similarities in their wrestling and like personally and socially and everything find their way to Iowa. And that's why it works. And
then final question.
This is probably something random, but have you seen the Kennedy Monday versus what I'm talking about, right?
Ed Scott?
No, just like everything that's going on with him right now. Because first he started talking shit to Micaiah Lewis, right? He posted a picture of him and Micaiah Lewis just like in a match, and the caption says on site. And then he posts a video of them wrestling. Obviously the song said some words that I can't really repeat. And then, people are coming at him, right? And they're kind of in the right. And then he turns off comments. And then he announces he's coming back to college. And he dropped his top 4 schools, which are Arizona State, Michigan, Rutgers, and Penn State.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
And then, I honestly, I feel like the dude's just chasing for clout, but I'm never gonna say because Kenny Monday follows me. So,
Yeah.
and the top comment is, do the four schools actually want him? Honestly, dude, like if he goes 65, I feel like Arizona State's the spot. I want to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's always a tricky thing
Yeah.
when somebody's like, I don't know. I don't know. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. So
Yeah. But yeah, final question. We asked this to all of our guests. We're just gonna assume, we're gonna have you assume, with who you know and who you've been friends with, we're gonna assume that you're on the Iowa lineup, okay? Because I don't really know a lot about the high school you go to now. All I know is that Ben goes there and everything. I'm sure they're great athletes. We're just gonna assume that you're at Iowa, okay? So just put yourself in the mindset you're in the Iowa wrestling room with all those guys that are there. You could select 4 of your Hawkeye teammates to take with you in the zombie apocalypse. Who are you taking and why?
all right. So I mean, I'd say the first one definitely would be Tony Cassiope because I mean the dude's got like massive biceps. That has to mean something.
Sure.
All right. So that's one. And then let me think. I mean, definitely Spencer because I mean, unstoppable wrestler and like the dude loves Star Wars and Pokemon. Like he's definitely got some sort of secret like hidden like superpower. So he's definitely got like superpowers or something. So got to pick him too. I'd say that's a tough one. Got to get Marinelli. Marinelli probably. But
all right, one more.
I'd say probably get Abe Assad because of the good looks. He gets all the chicks.
Respect that 4 right there. So you got you, Tony Cassiope, Spencer Lee, Marinelli, and Abe Assad. That's your zombie apocalypse super squad.
That's it right there.
All right. I think you guys would have a pretty good chance of survival.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kolby, it was great talking to you. We appreciate you having you coming on the show. It's a pleasure as always, and good luck to you moving forward with your career at Iowa. We hope to have you back on when you win your national title and all of that. So
thank you for sure.
Thank you for coming on. Yeah, I really appreciate it. So this has been episode 98 of Late Night Shots, and we'll see you guys again next time.